Something unusual is happening in California. A place once known as the final destination for dreamers, innovators, and risk-takers is now watching a steady flow of people heading the other way, out of the state. Not slowly, not quietly, but in a visible stream of brake lights stretching toward the border. If you think the explanation is only about taxes or politics, then you're missing the deeper truth. Because the real cause isn't new. It's older than Silicon Valley, older than Hollywood. It's hidden in mountains, deserts, coastlines, and a set of zoning decisions made in the 1970s that silently shaped everything California has become. And once you see how all these forces connect, the recent population decline, one of the most significant in California's modern history, finally makes sense. Before we dive in, a quick request. If you enjoy understanding the hidden causes behind crises, geographies, and cultures, leave your like and subscribe. You get 3 videos every week exploring curiosities and maps that explain the world. Now, let's go to the map that redefined California's destiny. Part 1. The Invisible Island. On a map, California looks huge. But functionally, it behaves like a biological island, boxed in by natural barriers on 3 sides. To the east, the Sierra Nevada rises like a stone wall. To the south, the Mojave Desert stretches endlessly in harsh, dry terrain. And to the west, the Pacific Ocean locks the coastline in place. 3 borders, 1 narrow strip of livable land, and nearly 39 million people trying to fit into it. Los Angeles is confined inside a basin framed by mountains. San Francisco is squeezed onto the tip of a peninsula. San Diego faces steep hills and the ocean. Space ends quickly, much faster than most imagine. But here's the key. Geography didn't create the crisis alone. It only set the stage. The next step, the decision that turned a tight space into a housing trap, was entirely human. And it began right when California was booming the fastest. Part 2. The dream of endless room. California's identity was built on the belief that there was always space for one more person chasing a better life. First came the gold rush in 1849. Then came aerospace, Hollywood, and eventually Silicon Valley. After World War II, millions moved in seeking a new lifestyle. Quiet suburbs, single-story homes, big lawns, and 2-car garages. And for a while, geography cooperated. Cities spread outward across farmland and valleys. But by the late 1960s, the outward growth hit its physical limits. Most of the easiest flat land near the coast was built over or restricted. No more room to stretch. Most cities around the world respond to this by building upward, creating taller, denser neighborhoods. California, however, did exactly the opposite. Part 3. When the state closed the door. In the 1970s, California cities started protecting what they called local character. This movement became known as NIMBY, not in my backyard. Neighborhoods pushed back against new development, and city governments passed restrictive zoning rules to slow or stop dense construction. The most powerful of all was single-family zoning. This rule made it illegal to build apartments, duplexes, or small multifamily buildings on most residential land. In cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, and San Jose, a huge majority of housing areas were locked into single-family homes only. Some regions of San Jose even surpassed 90%. The economy kept attracting people. Companies kept expanding. Opportunities kept multiplying. But housing stayed nearly frozen. A structural imbalance formed. Demand rising, supply stuck, and it pushed families toward a difficult choice. Either leave the coast or leave the state. Part 4. Drive until you qualify. With coastal prices skyrocketing, middle-class workers, teachers, nurses, police officers, technicians were pushed deeper inland to cities like Riverside, San Bernardino, Stockton, Modesto, and Tracy. The houses were cheaper, but the cost came in hours. This is how the era of the super-commuter was born. Hundreds of thousands of Californians now travel 2, 3, or even 4 hours every day to get to work. They leave before sunrise, return after dark, and spend more time on freeways than with their families. But the inland refuge brought a new threat. A risk produced by nature, intensified by human development, and impossible to ignore. and that risk was fire. Part 5. The line between city and wildfire. As development expanded into dry, mountainous regions, neighborhoods entered what scientists call the wildland-urban interface, the zone where homes meet forests and chaparral. And this zone burns. The danger became tragically clear with events like the Paradise Fire in 2018, which destroyed most of the town in hours. Beyond the loss of life, the economic impact shook the state. In recent years, several major insurance companies paused or restricted the issuance of new policies in high-risk areas, citing wildfire danger and reconstruction costs. For many families, owning a home inland suddenly meant uncertainty. A home that was affordable to buy, but difficult or expensive to insure. The cheap parts of California were no longer so cheap. And then came a final shift, one that broke the last pillar that kept millions tied to the state. Part 6. The remote work earthquake. For decades, there was one reason people stayed despite all the problems. You had to be in California to be part of its opportunities. But in 2020, remote and hybrid work changed everything. Suddenly, tech workers, designers, editors, programmers, and countless professionals realized they could keep their jobs while living in states with far lower costs of living. Texas, Nevada, Arizona, Idaho, and Utah grew rapidly. Cities like Dallas, Phoenix, and Salt Lake City have flat land and flexible building rules, meaning housing can expand quickly. For the first time in more than a century, California lost its monopoly on innovation and opportunity. When geography blocks expansion, when zoning blocks density, and when remote work removes location from the equation, people simply move. Part 7. A new era begins. California is trying to adapt. Laws like SB 9 aim to soften zoning restrictions and allow more housing on existing lots. It's a step, an attempt to reverse decades of limited growth, but transforming the urban fabric of an entire state is slow. Much slower than the speed at which families need solutions. Yet, this is not the end of California. The state remains a global cultural and economic force, with unmatched natural beauty and world-class industries. But it may be the end of an era. The era when California was the affordable dream destination for everyone. Because when you can't build outward, and you're not allowed to build upward, people will eventually build their lives elsewhere. Before you go, tell me, would you choose California's climate and culture, or would space and cost of living speak louder? And if you want to keep exploring the world with me, leave your like and subscribe. You get 3 videos every week about curiosities, geography, maps, and surprising stories from around the planet. Click the suggested video, and I'll see you there.